What's up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Trying something new there with a little intro thing because of connectivity to Instagram takes so long. But yeah, a lot shorter show today. We got UFL news. We're going to talk about the L'Jarius Sneed trade for the Titans. We got the league meetings going on in Orlando right now, so we got some new rules for the NFL that were approved today. And then we'll finish up with the 3-round mock of the Bears and Commanders. Got my Donovan McNabb, Washington Redskins jersey on. The only one I own of the two teams. So there we go. And I guess I do have Bears stuff though. I do have a towel. Got the Bears towel here. So we're all geared up. I still think it was funny that they did the Bears towel in that color scheme when they were playing the Panthers that night. I was like, dude, you have the Bears logo, but it's the Panthers colors. So I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to do that or what. Anyways, not really any breaking news, so we're just gonna roll through. Nothing big to talk about. Other than the rule changes, but the rule changes I don't think were like massive. And plus, the kickoff rule didn't get changed yet. So if that would have been the case, probably would have talked about that first. But let's talk about UFL. It's game week. UFL kicks off on Saturday. The Birmingham Stallions, Arlington Renegades, they will be the first game on Saturday. We'll have a full breakdown of the teams in our UFL picks on Friday. But more cuts to 50 here to talk about the Memphis Showboats. Couple key guys there, wide receivers Rashard Davis and Ryan McDaniel, and then defensive back DJ Daniel. McDaniel, I was very surprised about that. He was a pretty key contributor for them last year on offense. Again, though, it's a big theme. The amount of quality players available is ridiculous. Guys that have really contributed a lot to either the USFL, the XFL, whatever, AAF, in the last couple of spring football seasons, and they're just looking for work. So it's kind of crazy. The Michigan Panthers also cutting to 50. Running back Toa Tawa, wide receiver Samson Nakua, defensive end Nasir Player, linebacker Gerard Fernandez, and defensive back Alex Thomas. Those last two are the key guys there on that list. Fernandez, sideline to sideline player for the New Orleans Breakers the last two seasons in the USFL. Excellent player. Hopefully he can land somewhere. Again, anytime a breaker, a guy that was really good on the Breakers ends up available, I'm like, all right, Memphis Showboats. Coach DiFilippo coming over from New Orleans. He already has a lot of former Breakers on his team, but Fernandez would be a great addition. And then Alex Thomas, also a New Orleans Breaker there. Pretty solid player in the back end. The Roughnecks safety Manny Bunch, I mentioned him, I think, in the Roughnecks cut to 50. He was a surprise cut there, but actually it wasn't a real cut. He ended up retiring, so on to better things for Manny Bunch. The Michigan Panthers, they have signed Stallion center Cole Cabral. Did not last long on the open market. Cut by the Stallions, and they're cut down to 50, and ends up real quick on to Michigan. And the last UFL news note here: the Brahmas. It's announcement week. Starting quarterbacks. That's what everyone wants to know. So we have a couple of them already, but another one dropping today with the San Antonio Brahmas. Wade Phillips announcing Chase Garbers is their starting quarterback, former Cal quarterback, last with the Raiders this past season, and former draft pick of the Raiders as well. So, all right, let's get into the big trade that went down this weekend. I was super pissed. I know you and I talked about this a little bit, Jimmy, but the Tennessee Titans making a move. L'Jarius Sneed and a 7th-round pick, number 252, coming over from the Chiefs for a 2024 7th, number 221, and a 2025 3rd. I couldn't believe they got this little for him. Especially, it's not even a 3rd this year; it's a 3rd next year. So, yeah, I mean, I was very shocked. And I guess he did sign a deal, but I haven't seen it from any like Schefter or Rappaport. But I guess the deal he signed was 4 years, $76 million. Again, though, I don't know exactly because like Spot Track doesn't. Okay, Spot Track has it. Yeah, 4 years, 76, 55 guaranteed.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, I was just as shocked as you. I was pretty disappointed because my Vikings were pretty interested in Sneed, and I feel like this was a price they could have paid. I'm thinking they're probably hesitant in moving picks right now because of the thought that they might be trading up in this year's draft. So maybe they were a little hesitant to move anything draft capital wise. But I like Sneed. I mean, we needed a lot of help in the cornerback room, and the Vikings would have very much benefited from having a guy like him on our roster. And hey, good on the Titans. Moving back in the 7th, only giving up a 3rd-round pick next year for a guy that really should elevate this defensive backfield for Tennessee, which, in my opinion, has been at best stagnant, just not really doing anything. Like, no prospect has been improving. No signing has really shined. They don't have like good veteran presence in that backfield. It's just a whole lot. It feels like just a whole lot of nothing in the Tennessee backfield. So getting L'Jarius Sneed, an immediate upgrade for that position group at a relatively decent trade price and a pretty good value contract. What was it, $55 million guaranteed? That's not too bad for a guy that you're expecting to get the prime out of. He's I don't want to say anything before I make a definitive statement about how good Sneed is. I just want to check up on something. So yeah, he's not a Pro Bowler yet, but I mean, he's 26. He's entering his prime. He's basically, in my opinion, just like borderline Pro Bowler. Should be probably a Pro Bowler this year. So I mean, you got really good value. Guys entering his prime, position of need, good contract. I think this is a massive win for Tennessee. And for the Chiefs, I just feel like you could have got a lot better. I know he's on the franchise tag, and I think there was an understanding that you could not afford him. So there's definitely a feeling of getting what you could get. But yeah, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm maybe a little disappointed in the return. Like a 7th-round pick swap and a 3rd-round pick next year. I don't know. I feel like you could have done better if you're Kansas City.
Yeah, I think it was just having to sign the contract. I think is kind of the same thing we saw with the Brian Burns trade.
Mm-hmm.
Teams don't want to give up capital plus have to sign into a big deal. Mm-hmm. Maybe teams are finally realizing how to do that. But yeah, it saves the Chiefs $19.8 million in cap space. The Titans now, though, might have the best corner pair in the league. They also signed Chidobe Awuzie from the Bengals this offseason.
That's right.
So excellent work by Rand Carthon there, the GM in Tennessee. Kansas City, not as big of a deal. Trent McDuffie, really excellent season in his first couple years. They also have Joshua Williams, who has been pretty solid, but I think they should draft at least one corner in the mid to late rounds there just to get some more depth. But yeah, Tennessee, I mean, it's a good deal for them anyways. I like it a lot more on their side.
Yeah, I gotta agree. So, I mean, if you're Kansas City, I think this is a clear signal to especially Joshua Williams. I mean, Joshua is a former 4th-round pick. He's 24. I think this is a clear signal to Williams, like, hey, all right, this is your job now. You're gonna take the place of Sneed, and we're gonna expect a lot out of you. So they probably saw Williams. They saw, okay, 2 years younger, under more team control. We'd rather run the gambit of seeing if he can improve and continue to develop than overpay for Sneed and lose valuable players elsewhere.
My guy Nick Jones as well in Kansas City roster. I love Nick Jones, Ball State, nickel with outside versatility. Going into the league meetings here, so I just wanted to clarify. I mentioned what the new kickoff rule would be. Again, it hasn't been approved yet, but I got after the show on Friday, the NFL posted a video like detailing the kickoff proposal. So, yeah, the landing zone, as I think I said, goal line to the 20-yard line. If the ball bounces in the landing zone and then into the end zone, you either have to return it or kneel the ball, and then you get touchback at the 20. If a kick fails to reach the landing zone or is out of bounds, the ball goes to the 40-yard line. If the ball goes into the end zone in the air, then it's a 35-yard line touchback. There aren't any fair catches allowed. You can only onside kick in the 4th quarter, and I believe that also has to be announced prior. You have to let the other team know, or the officials, that you're going to onside. And the setup where the two teams' players are going to be at the 35 and 40-yard line, I think it is. That and the landing zone don't change with penalties like you were asking. So, yeah, it does not change with a penalty. So that is the proposed new kickoff rule, which I'm very for.
I like it a lot, too.
There were 3 technically new rule changes that got approved today. The second one, I didn't understand what that meant. The offensive penalty one, I didn't really get what that one meant. So I'm just going to say the other 2 that I do understand. So the NFL has banned the swivel hip drop tackle. I hate it. I hate
this league. Like, seriously, like, this is bullshit. This is continual bullshit. This sport is already being dictated by judgment calls, and you're giving the referees another judgment call? Stop it. Enough. How the hell is a chasing cornerback supposed to tackle George Kittle or Travis Kelce or Derrick Henry? How the hell are we supposed to have undersized corners make these tackles anymore? I'm sorry Mark Andrews got injured once, and we're going to continue to change the sport over and over again. It's for safety, they claim. Stop. You had one bad injury. That is not a safety thing. This is an overreaction.
Well, there's a difference they were trying to make between the swivel hip drop tackle and a normal hip drop tackle, which is apparently legal. The normal hip drop tackle is legal. So the difference in the swivel one is you're holding on to the offensive player, picking yourself up off the ground and kicking your lower half into their lower half. I don't know.
No, you can't tell that on the field of play. You can't make a bang decision on that. The refs are not going to call that correctly. This is the same BS when they try to make, pass interference challengeable, and then it just didn't work. I see the exact same thing happening here. The refs just have way too much like choice in the way this is officiated. And I know the league is coming out saying, "Oh, this is legal, this is not." But I've watched the film of what they've shown is legal or not, and they're not going to be able to call it correctly. They really are not. This is not going to be called correctly.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I think it's a 15-yard penalty, I believe, is what it's just a regular personal foul. So
I'm glad defensive players are taking to social media and really showing their displeasure. I am in full solidarity with them, with guys like J.J. Watt and Jimmy Ward coming out and be like, yeah, this is BS. This is just BS. We can't do our job. Already defensive players have such a tough job doing both their job and worrying about the rules of the game. And now you're just making it worse. This is... God, I feel like I'm going to sound like a boomer, but like, just make it flag football at this point. If you want to avoid injuries at all cost, make it flag football. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, which is why I don't like flag football.
It's funny too because they do this, but they continue to have the worst turf on the planet for these guys to play on. I guarantee you change the turf, but put this rule back in, you'll have less injuries.
So the hybrid turf that Roger loves.
That they won't even allow soccer teams to play on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
This is a disaster in the making. We're gonna see games really turn because of these calls, and it's going to be a controversy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the unnecessary roughness. You can't hit them high, can't hit them low. Where are you supposed to hit them? In the tiny little zone in between their shoulders and their waist.
Yeah. Again, it's just the question of, okay, do you want them diving at their kneecaps? Because this is what you're going to get now.
Well,
you're going to get undersized corners
because you can't dive at the lineman's kneecaps on outside plays because that's a legal cut block on the defense.
Yeah, but hey, if he's the ball carrier, and he's TJ Hawkinson and he's 5 inches taller than you and 50 pounds heavier, you got to dive at the knees because you can't wrap them up at the waist. This is going to get bad. Like, you're going to see more knee injuries to bigger running backs and tight ends. That small cornerbacks that are 5'11", 195 pounds have to take that risk and lead with the shoulder at the knee to bring them down because they can't wrap them.
Yeah. No. The other one that got approved this morning is one that you also I don't like.
They went 1 for 3 with the kickoffs and then these two.
Coaches can now have a third challenge if they are correct on one of their first 2 challenges. Doesn't even make sense. I hate it. Doesn't even make sense. Why should you get a third one if you only got one right?
No, I don't get it. I am not a fan. Let's slow the game down more. Let's put on more commercials, and just ruin the experience for people both at the game and watching on TV by continually putting less action on the screen and on the field. Like, stop it. Enough with this. Stop with the over-challenging thing. NHL is having that problem, and they're trying to mitigate it. Stop making it worse for yourself. The NFL, man. I feel like these rule changes it's really bothering me. I feel like the NFL is really just starting to shoot themselves in the foot with a couple of these things.
Yeah, I like how this says NFL stats, challenge stats, and then it doesn't have an article about it. I was trying to look up real quick what the NFL challenge stats were across the league, but guess there isn't one that really quickly. I don't know. Anyways. A couple signings to talk about. The Steelers making some moves. They getting another potential weapon for Russell Wilson. The signed Eagles wide receiver Quez Watkins. I believe that's a 1-year deal. I like that one. The only thing I don't like is that he's kind of similar to Van Jefferson. Now Van Jefferson's more of a possession guy. Quez the speedster, but I think it's a good move. Anyways, just taking a flyer on him. And Pittsburgh also wrapped up its quarterback room today. They signed Bills quarterback Kyle Allen to be the number 3. So I still think, though, that they should draft one on day 3 somewhere and maybe have him compete with Kyle Allen to be the 3rd.
Desmond Ridder.
What?
Desmond Ridder, late round draft pick. Or am I? No. Who am I thinking of? Spencer Rattler. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I was gonna say Desmond Ridder plays for the Cardinals.
My bad. I got him mixed up. So Spencer Rattler, maybe interesting 4th, 5th round pick.
Yeah, I mean the guys I like in the 5th through 7th are guys like Austin Reed from Western Kentucky, Sam Hartman from Notre Dame, and in the 4th it would be Jordan Travis from FSU. Those are the kind of guys I like in day 3 for Pittsburgh. And not a signing yet, but the Dolphins, they have extended an offer to Ravens wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. So that would be a crazy wide receiver room. OBJ, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, they'd be flying down there in Miami more than they already are. So I would like to see that. Give Tua some more help. He's O-line help, but weapons-wise, why not? And the Jadeveon Clowney tour is continuing. The Jets, Ravens, and the Panthers all hosting the Ravens defensive end for a visit. And last thing, Caroline's going to be happy. The Browns are close to extending head coach Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry.
Yeah, it feels well deserved. Browns are in their most successful stint since basically coming back to Cleveland 20 years ago. So I've always liked Stefanski. I liked him when he was the offensive coordinator with the Vikings. He seems to do more with less, it seems like, with the Browns, especially the last couple of years. And I think their general manager has done just a great job of acquiring talent, both in the draft and in free agency. Although, jury's still out on Deshaun Watson signing, but we'll see.
Yes, sir. And it is that time. That's all the news. So let's head to the Bears and the Commanders mock draft. So starting our mock draft series with top 2 picks. Bears have 3 in the first 3 rounds. Number 1 from the Panthers in the Bryce Young trade. Number 9, their own first round. And number 75 in the 3rd. Lost their 2nd to the Commanders for Montez Sweat last season. So Washington has number 2, 36, 40, 67. They got 78 from the Seahawks and Sam Howell trade, and 100 from the 49ers in the Chase Young trade. So let's get to it here. Which one do you want to be? Or we just want to do a consensus between us?
Let's do consensus because I feel like that'd be a lot easier, and then we could bounce ideas off each other.
Look at this. The Patriots trying to trade up Caleb Williams. Holy crap. The Broncos, the Raiders, and your Vikings.
Oh, we're going to accept that one. No, I'm just kidding.
I think the Broncos or the Patriots will be the most interesting ones, especially the Patriots. You're still in quarterback territory there. plus the first, second next year, and 34 and 68 this year. That's primo capital that you could use on Drake May or Jaden Daniels, whichever one is available at 3. But we're sticking.
Yeah.
We're sticking and picking.
Stick and pick. Come on.
And we're going to go with Kel Williams.
That's full agreement. I feel like the number 1 overall pick, it's just kind of out of the question at this point. It's just going to be Caleb, and it's going to be the Bears. Now, Washington, it gets interesting because there's reports out today that Washington really likes McCarthy. Yeah. I don't know if it's smoke screening. I don't know if there's, fire to the smoke, but it's interesting because now we have 3 legit quarterback targets for Washington in Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I forgot to say these 2 news notes. Number 2 and number 3, the Commanders and Patriots apparently, head coach Dan Quinn for the Commanders said the phone is ringing. They're accepting calls right now for number 2. And then GM Adam Peters there. And then in New England, GM Elliott Wolf, head coach Gerard Mayo said that the team isn't locked into picking at number 3. But it's interesting, though. No one's trading us. No one offered a trade for Washington at 2 here.
And you know what? Until I hear more, I really do think it's a smokescreen in terms of trading back. I could see them maybe liking JJ at 2nd, but I don't see them trading back. Right now, I still have them taking Daniels. I still think he makes sense in a Cliff Kingsbury offense. I think he's the guy they like. I think what they're trying to do is trying to bait teams that like JJ to trade up and see if they can get Daniels later. But it'd be hard. It'd be a hard sell. I still think stick and pick with Daniels until further notice.
I concur. Jaden Daniels, 2 Patriots. Go with Drake May. Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. Chargers,
Neighbors.
Olu Fashanu. Giants go Malik Neighbors. Titans going with Joe Alt. Falcons, Dallas Laiatu Latu. Okay. Bears, we're back up here. And what do we got? The Buccaneers want to come up and get their next franchise quarterback. So do the Broncos. And so do the Panthers. I don't know what. They're coming up for Brock Bowers.
Maybe.
Panthers are coming up for Brock Bowers, baby. We're getting.
I think of those 3 trades, the one I think most likely is the Denver one.
Yeah, I like this. 1st round pick next year, 3 picks back. Not going to hurt us a lot. There's a lot of players that the Bears could use still. Dallas Turner, Roma Dunze, and Talise Fuaga are all there. Jared Verse as well. So I think we take the Broncos offer.
I would too. I know a lot of people would probably stick and pick with Dunze, but with getting Moore and Keenan Allen, a 3rd wide receiver isn't the biggest need, and there's a good chance you could maybe get Roma Dunze later.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The Jets and the Vikings are the 2 teams in between here, and the Jets are likely to take Talise Fuaga or Brock Bowers or a Dunze maybe. And then the Broncos, though, who knows? Or the Vikings, if J.J. McCarthy's gone, then it's probably they're looking at Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, maybe Tyrion Arnold.
Yeah, I would not see them taking Roma Dunze at 11. So I would accept this if I were the Bears. So, yeah there goes JJ.
The Jets take Brock Bowers. So
this
sets up pretty good. Dallas Turner, that hurts a little bit. But we're not accepting that one from the Niners.
That's an awful one.
They're coming up for have to think Talise Fuaga to get Trent Williams' future replacement there.
Yeah. Now, with Dunze still there, I feel like that would be the sexy pick. But I do like Jared Verse for the Bears. Those are my 2. I would go with Dunze or Jared Verse.
Yeah, I think I agree. I just want to check out. They have Jalen Johnson. I just want to check what their other corners look like. All right, Kyler Gordon.
Gordon's good.
And yeah, Terrell Smith. So it's not the greatest cornerback room behind the starters, but
It's not a desperate need, I would say.
yeah,
I think you got stability, and you can get corner later in the draft.
I would actually think though Talise Fuaga. I think I like that one better. Braxton Jones has been decent at left tackle, but I don't know. I mean, it's either or. I think is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Personally,
I do agree though. The edge is probably more of a need.
yeah, if I were the Bears in this situation, as sexy of a pick Roma Dunse would be, I think you got a lot of stability with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. If you need wide receiver, you can go later in the draft. So I would go Jared Verse here if I were Chicago.
Raiders. Oh, Colts coming up for Tyrion Arnold. Let's see what was that trade? 15 and a second next year. That's pretty solid. Talise Fuaga for the Saints. J.C. Latham to the Raiders. Roma Dunze to the Seahawks. Quinyon Mitchell for the Jags.
That makes a lot of sense.
Troy Faltanu for the Bengals. Kool-Aid McKinstry for the Rams. Steelers going Cooper DeJean. That's intriguing. Marius Mims for the Dolphins. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Eagles.
Here. Johnny Newton? What?
Bo Nix, baby. Bo Nix, baby.
No.
Jackson Powers Johnson for the Cowboys. Graham Barton for the Packers. Chop Robinson for the Bucks. Nate Wiggins for the Cards. The Niners come up and get Tyler Guyton, 31 and a third next year. Kingsley Suamataia for the Lions. Tyler Nubin for the Ravens. Keon Coleman for the Bills. They still get a wide receiver, even trade back. Johnny Newton for the Chiefs.
Chiefs getting Johnny Newton to pair up.
Xavier Worthy for the Panthers. Adisa Isaac for the Patriots. Cooper Beebe for the Cardinals. And we are back on the clock with the Commanders. What do we got here? The Broncos, I have no clue what they're coming up for. They already got a quarterback, so maybe they want to get him a weapon and then Adonai Mitchell. That's a little too far back trading for me, but also still a little too far back. That's a lot. That's a lot of picks for 18 spots back, a second and a third next year. That could be something.
Yeah, but how much draft capital Washington has, I don't think they're dying to make that. But we already got Daniels.
Exactly. That's the thing, though. We have another pick in 4 spots. So I think I would take that.
You would?
Yeah, you have another pick in 4 picks.
I don't know. Picks? I think because if I'm Washington right now, I like the idea of walking away from this with either Byron Murphy and Jordan Morgan or Jordan Morgan and Darius Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so they do need a tackle, an edge. They did do a lot of work on edge in free agency. Dante Fowler, Clellan Ferrell, and Dorrance Armstrong. So, yeah, the tackle, I understand. Okay, they signed Tyler Biadasz, so they don't really need a center.
I like taking Jordan Morgan here.
Yeah.
Could you get him at 40? Perhaps. But
the Panthers are there.
Yeah, the Panthers are there. So I would take Jordan Morgan. I would stick and pick.
All right.
Talked you out of it.
I like the draft picks. Adonai Mitchell for the Chargers. Enos Rakestraw for the Titans. Panthers go Trey Benson, and we are back up on the clock here. Not dropping 36 picks, 14 picks. Now Cleveland's only giving us their second. Yeah, I mean, Darius Robinson definitely is the pick here. That's the biggest need.
I'd go defense here. I'd either go Murphy or Robinson. I don't think either of them are a bad pick.
They all need Murphy.
They don't, but
way too many defensive tackles.
That's true. Yeah. I'd go defense here. I'd go Robinson, and I'd be happy with it.
We could have still got Darius Robinson.
Could have. But could you have gotten Jordan Morgan?
Probably not. Xavier Leggett for the Packers, TJ Tampa for the Texans, Malachi Corley for the Falcons, Ladd McConkey for the Raiders. Saints go Christian Haynes. Colts going Troy Franklin. Giants, Byron Murphy.
There's Byron Murphy.
Jags go Tavondre Sweat, back-to-back Texas big men. Jonathan Brooks to the Bengals. Ooh. Eagles trade back Zach Frazier. That's a great trade up for the Seahawks. 81, 102, 118. Jalen Polk for the Steelers. Junior Colson for the Rams. Another Georgia Bulldog going to Philly. Kamari Lassiter to the Eagles. Patrick Paul for the Browns. Braden Fisk for the Dolphins. Max Melton for the Cowboys. Ben Sinnott, the Bucks. Where's Michael Penix going? Ruka Orhuro to the Packers.
Bills are taking Penix.
To the Texans. Michael Hall for the Bills. Lions? Oh, as well.
Kind of surprised.
Ravens go Devontae Walker.
Maybe 49ers.
No,
trade up.
Eagles coming up for Edgerrin Cooper. 81 and 102 using two of those picks that they got from the Seahawks.
Interesting.
Cedric Gray for the Chiefs. Panthers go Braylon Trice. Cards go Leonard Taylor, and we are back up. Who's coming up for Michael Penix? It's the Raiders.
Mm.
19 picks back and a third versus 10 picks back and a fourth. Here, now we got tackle, we got quarterback, we got edge. So we got 3 of the 5 big needs. What is the top corners? Kalen Carson, 5'11", 199. You got safety here as well, 6', 203. They did lose Cam Curl in free agency. They did sign Jeremy Chin, however. But the safety depth is not great. The secondary overall is not great, other than they drafted Emmanuel Forbes in the first round last year. I signed Zach Ertz, so tight end's not as big of a need. I was gonna look at Jatavian Sanders there. Linebacker. They signed Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu in free agencies, and they have Jamin Davis. So not really a big need. So I think
it's either Carson or Braid to me. Just get defensive back help.
Yeah, and I am gonna go with I'm picking Bo Braid. Neither is really I don't really love either guy. But I think the safety depth is worse than the corner depth is right now. So
yeah,
we go with Bo Braid. The Patriots, Ricky Pearsall. Chargers, Cedric Van Pran. Braylon Allen for the Giants. Cards go Blake Corum.
Back-to-back running backs.
Jets go Cole Bishop. That's who he should have drafted. Roman Wilson for the Lions. Peyton Wilson for the Falcons. And we are back up on with the Bears. Why not? Why not trade back one spot? And pick up a fourth-round pick this year. I think that's fourth. Not that we'll draft that selection, but I'm fine with that.
I'm fine because it's moving back one pick. And
Broncos coming up for Brandon Dorless.
My guys.
Your Vikings coming up.
Nah, if I'm the Bears, I'm not accepting that. That's not good enough value.
Another 4th round this year. Nah.
What are we looking for the Bears here? Because we just drafted edge and quarterback here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're looking pretty good. You could go wide receiver here.
What's the... Oh, no. Let's go Roger Rosengarten.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
I love Roger Rosengarten right here. Give Braxton Jones competition at left tackle.
Yeah, it works.
Raiders, Chris Jenkins.
Dang, I like Chris Jenkins.
We're back up on with the Commanders. 3 spots. I like that.
I like that. I would take that trade with the Niners.
Yeah, let me see.
Is there any division rival between yourself and San Fran? No, it's just the Falcons and Bengals. So you're not letting a division rival get ahead of you in this, unless a division rival happens to trade up. I would take the San Fran deal.
Yeah, move up 2 rounds next year.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Newton for the 49ers. Kalen Carson for the Falcons. Bengals with Dwayne Carter. 2 more picks for a 7th rounder.
I don't think Washington wants to keep going back. They already have a lot of draft capital.
Why not? Yeah, so here is where I'd go corner. We got a safety already. Unfortunately, because I love Javon Bullard as a nickel slot blitzing safety. But I think corner here, Chris Abrams-Drain is the pick.
5'11".
Yeah, I really like the Missouri corners.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Rakestraw. Jaden Hicks for the Colts. Rams going Javon Bullard.
So who's taking Penix? Oh, we have Raiders traded up.
112 and a third next year. Pretty solid. Trevin Wallace for the Browns. Cade Stover for the Texans. Cowboys going Jalen McMillan.
I keep saying Cade Stover so early, and I don't see it.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I like him. DJ James for the Bucks. Marshawn Nealon for the Cards. Packers going Will Shipley. Bucks going Christian Mahogany. Ravens McKinley Jackson. Niners Austin Booker. Chiefs Kalen Bullock. James Williams for the Jags. Steelers trading up 1 spot, 98 and a 7th next year. Washington 7th next year for Kieran Amagachi. Damn it!
I was going to do that because we drafted all our needs, and he would have been best available at that time.
I know. Jermaine Burton for the Rams. Well, so we have Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. Let's get some. I mean, they do have size. De'Ami Brown is big. Not really. I thought he was bigger than that. Okay. Yeah, let's get some size for Jaden Daniels. Johnny Wilson. Either that or we got to go corner again.
No, I wouldn't double up on corners this early. I think at this point, you have all your needs. You draft for talent at this point, and you could go Ronaldo Green from Florida State. But, again, no need to go back-to-back. Take the best available wide receiver. See what you can mold him into. I'd take Johnny Wilson.
Yeah.
Or you could go crazy and take Bucky Irving. Give him a running back.
Yeah, but they signed Eckler.
That is true.
So they got Eckler and Robinson.
I don't know. I don't like Eckler. I don't know. I never got that signing.
Let's do the Washington. Let's do the old Washington move. the RG3 Kirk Cousins move. Let's do Jaden Daniels, Spencer Rattler.
Hell no, dude. Nah. They wouldn't be that crazy.
All right, let's go.
I do Wilson or Irving here, but Wilson makes the most sense. All right, and that was the last pick of the third round.
Yeah, 100 is. Okay, so here we go. This is what we got. The Bears. Caleb Williams at number 1. Traded back a couple spots with the Broncos. Picked up first-round pick next year. Jared Verse at number 12. And then Roger Rosengarten traded back 1 spot. Picked up a 4th round this year. Gave up a 5th next year. And got some competition for Braxton Jones. For the Commanders, we got Jaden Daniels at number 2. Jordan Morgan at 36. Darius Robinson at 40. Bo Braid at 67, Chris Abrams-Drain at 81. That was after trading back 3 spots, moving up 2 rounds next year with the 49ers. Johnny Wilson at 100. And like I said, we picked up that 4th from San Fran next year.
I mean, not to toot our own horn, but I'd give both teams an A after that first 3 rounds. I mean, Bears traded back and still got a top-line edge rusher while getting Caleb Williams. They got more competition on the offensive line. An additional first-round pick next year, that's really good. I don't think it's getting all that trade capital for Bryce Young good, but it's good. It is very good.
Yeah, I like the Bears a lot more. There's a lot less picks, half the picks, but I like the Bears' quality of selections and value. And that first-round pick also helps a lot. The one I just didn't like was the Bo Braid one. The Bo Braid, I didn't realize Cole Bishop was right there. It should have went Cole Bishop. I like a lot more at safety. But other than that, I like most of the other selections for Washington.
Yeah. I like sticking and picking with 36 and 40. I think as good as the value was on paper, I think getting 2 absolute positions of need in offensive tackle and edge early for second round was very valuable. Getting Jordan Morgan and Darius Robinson, I think getting those 2 guys in the matter of 4 picks is fantastic. I mean, build up those trenches for Washington. And then by the time we're getting to our last pick in the third round, we're drafting for just drafting best player available. And if you're a rebuilding team, you kind of want to get to day 3 and just kind of pick either projects or best player available. You don't want to force yourself into a corner where you have to draft for need in the 5th round. And that's what we did for Washington.
Yeah, I think the only thing I could have done differently for Washington is use some of the capital and trade up potentially. I could see them doing that on day 2 because they have 4 picks on day 2.
Or trading back into the late first round with picks 36 and 40.
Right. I think that would be to get a better tackle. And then potentially, I don't know what they would be looking at in day 2, but yeah. That is it. That's our mock draft for the Bears and Commanders. So if you're a fan of either of those 2 teams, make sure you tune in and
make sure you thank us for our amazing job rebuilding both your franchises.
Send us all your comments. Love to read all the hate.
Or the love. Hey. I mean, what's not to love about our selections?
But anyways, that's the show for today. Thank you all for watching. Next week, we'll be back. It will be UFL Week 2. We'll have all your UFL game recaps from Week 1. And then we'll also continue our mock draft series with the Chargers and the Giants, picks 5 and 6. Friday, we are doing the Patriots and Cardinals mock drafts, as well as, like I said, previewing UFL Week 1, giving our UFL picks. And, don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and X. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc. We see y'all back for Football Friday.